Okay, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yay.
Great. So, how was lunch? Good? Already digested? Or not yet? I love gnocchi, so I had about 3 plates of them. Fortunately, none of them landed on my pants. Also, no coffee on my pants. That's really nice. I was just last week at a conference in London, and one of the speakers there, it was about well-being, and one of the speakers there was saying, if you want to stay calm, don't drink coffee. I already had 3 of them today, so I get that going for me. But, you know, since the beginning of the day, I have actually talked to quite a lot of you. So somehow I feel that I'm among friends already. And this is why I would like to share with you that I love go-karting. About once a month, I go driving go-karts, and I could say I deeply enjoy it. Because when I'm driving, I feel like I can be fully present in the moment. I have a clear goal of achieving the best lap times and not crashing. I can play and experiment and try out new approaches to the track. And somehow the whole activity resonates with me as a person. And because I have the helmet on, no one can hear me laugh. So, what is your deeply enjoyable activity? Now you will have about 30 seconds to think about what is your deeply enjoyable activity, whether that's work or hobby, whether that's physical or mental, and you can write it down on paper or into your phone or just remember it. So give it a try. Whoever already has it can meditate for about 10 more seconds. All right. So, does everyone have their activity in your mind? What qualities does it have? How could you describe it? Try to come up with about 3 of them. Or what do you feel? What do you experience? Mm-hmm. 30 seconds is quite a lot of time when you're standing on the stage in silence. But I wanted to leave you enough time. Great. Thank you very much. For now, you can keep them to yourself, but we will come back to that later. These are my colleagues at the Living Core in Vienna. We are a small company founded by cognitive scientists from the University of Vienna, and we help organizations of different kinds and sizes create radical, purposeful, and successful innovations. And as you will see later, enjoyment has a lot to do with setting up the enabling conditions for creativity and innovation. And this is why when we looked at the world of work, even a few years back before the pandemic, we were quite concerned. People were massively reporting that they lack purpose in their work. This 1/3 of people think their jobs are meaningless, another 20% are not sure. So that's half of the population. It was 2 big surveys in UK and US who feel no clear purpose at their work. And other statistics are also quite concerning. Only 1/3 of employees think that work clearly positively affects their well-being. And I love the blue screen of death. And you could also see that in the rise of communities such as the anti-work subreddit. I recommend to all leaders to go there and scroll through it because it's quite a reality check of how people see their work. And this is one of the top upvoted memes on this subreddit. It's ironic. But then, a huge disruption came. I'm not sure I remember what it was. I guess COVID hit me hard. But we saw that everything changed. Suddenly, everything that was not possible before was just like this, possible, doable. And people started, sorry to the cameraman, I move quite a lot. And people started to rethink radically what work means in their lives. According to the recent Gartner poll, about 65% of people said that the pandemic made them rethink the role work should play in their lives. And we think that we should see this as an opportunity, because the huge volcanic explosion that was created also left behind a layer of highly fertile soil, as the volcanic explosions do. And it's up to us to decide what to plant in this soil. So, will it be productivity potatoes? I think that's a bit of an old one, right? Or will it be control carrots? I think that doesn't work anymore. Or will it be the seeds of sunflowers of enjoyment? And I think you know our answer. But why? Why enjoyment? And for that, I have two explanations. The first one is that we live in a vast universe, and we are hurtling through it with unimaginable speed on a tiny speck of dust called Earth. And each one of us is here only for a tiny fraction of a cosmic second. And I don't know how about you. Sabotage. And for some of you, it could be a bit depressing, but at least for me, the pandemic and the war and everything, it really made me realize that, I am mortal, and that I need to prioritize certain things in my life. And since the work makes up so much of our time, we should be able to deeply enjoy it too, every one of us. But it might be a bit difficult to sell this to your CFO. So I created a CFO corner where you can direct them. And fortunately, over the last decades, already 100 studies were made, and they are proving over and over again that enjoyment and all its proxy measures, if organizations implement them successfully, it will have positive impact on their business, whether through share prices, profits, productivity, creativity, innovation, talent attraction, or talent retention, all of it. But what is enjoyment, and how is it different from happiness, let's say? Because we've been hearing about happiness of work, right, for the last 10, 20 years. Well, we say that enjoyment goes actually quite deeper than happiness. And I forgot my water. Could I please ask you for, yeah, thanks. So we say it goes quite deeper. And to understand that, we need to get back to this guy. That's the Greek philosopher Aristotle. And Aristotle coined a term, thank you. See my hand? I'm not a very, very calm type of person. So he coined the term eudaimonia. And what he meant by eudaimonia is life filled with purposeful, creative, leisurely activity. But by leisure, he didn't mean just lying down on the couch and playing PlayStation, or I don't know, maybe he preferred Xbox. But What he meant is an activity which is done for the sake of itself, not an activity that we are doing to earn money or gain social status. And so, taking this definition, we gathered our team and we met in a huge sense-making session where we put together all the studies that we knew about, all of our university research that some of my colleagues do in their daily work, all of the experience that we have with working with all the organizations of different kinds and sizes over the last 10 to 15 years. And we came up with a framework of 6 qualities of enjoyable work. And these are self-determination, presence, playfulness, goal orientation, authenticity, and purpose. You can also easily remember them by the abbreviation SPPGAP. I realize the worse the abbreviation, the easier it is to understand. And we will now take a look at each of them. Self-determination, also called autonomy, agency, having control. And now remember the activity that you were thinking about at the beginning. Who of you described your activity in this way? Agency, autonomy, having control. All right, no one. Great. It's okay, we have 5 more. What does self-determination mean at work? Now it's going to be a bit dense. It means you can decide how, when, and where you work. It means that you can engage with problems proactively instead of just reacting to what's coming towards you. You can influence things around you and see your impact at work. And you can take responsibility and get recognition for your results. Now, self-determination is not only important for enjoyment, it's also very important for creativity and innovation. Because if you and your employees can only react to things already coming at you, if you can only follow the trends, and if you can only react to them in a predetermined way, which is given to you from the top, then you're just not going to be creative. You're not going to be innovative. And since many of you here are leaders who have the power to influence how things are done in the company, in your company, I have also prepared a few guidelines, specifically about how workplace and workplace design can support this. So how to do this? You need to co-design, customize, and personalize. Humans don't scale. Today, we have on the market many companies which are growing with an incredible speed. They have scalable digital products. And they need to employ new people, build new offices. And sometimes they are trying to apply the same principles they are applying to building their products to building their offices. But each of us is very different. And every team has a different configuration of people in it. And so we need to realize that this is a difference when building workplaces. Because uniform solutions, repeating the same patterns, will also lead to mediocre work and mediocre levels of enjoyment. So we need to involve teams to co-design their neighborhoods. Some people will say, well, we have such a huge turnover rates. If your company will be highly enjoyable to work for, you will have a bit lower turnover rates. And today we have quite a lot of flexible solutions that can be repurposed. So why not take the architects and the designers, put them into sessions with each of your departments for 3, 4, 5 hours, and let them design their space together. Presence, also called focus, flow, being in the moment. Who described their activity this way? All right, that's better. What does it mean? It means that you can be fully present, focus on your job when you need it. It means you can avoid distractions, both external, such as your colleagues talking or walking by, and internal, such as some stray thoughts. You have enough uninterrupted time in your schedule. I highly recommend the blog by Paul Graham called Manager Time, Maker Time. Quite a big difference. The environment and company culture support your preferred way of focusing because people are also different in what they need to focus well. Some people, such as me, need a fully walled off, closed off room where no one can see me or hear me, where I can focus. Some people will focus just fine in a busy cafe, creating a lot of this noise. So how to design workplaces enabling presence? First, design for deep work. This is still quite an underappreciated area of workplaces, of designing workplaces. It's an unfulfilled need for many people. Take a focus-first approach to design. Nigel expected this, I think. He knows me. So create focus spaces meeting the necessary criteria. I have seen very, very, very few offices which actually had focus spaces which worked well as focus spaces. A good focus space needs to have natural light, fresh air, a lot of space around you so that you can also get up and just walk around a bit. It needs to have ergonomic design, not just a tiny desk where you can maybe put your laptop like this, but big screen, keyboard, mouse, comfortable chair, things like this. And don't expect that everyone can focus at home. Yes, many people found that their home is a great place for focusing. But still, many don't have the conditions. Some people have people who they live with, flatmates, or family. And so they need another space where they can go focusing. Playfulness. Whose activity is playful? Who can experiment when they're doing this activity that you thought about? Okay, a few more, great. Playfulness means that you have opportunities to experiment and play without the pressure to perform. Sometimes you feel safe trying out new approaches and creative ideas. You can test your ideas where they won't be seen or judged by others. This is important because especially ideas leading to radical innovation are very fragile and they need some time to incubate alone with you or with the team that creates them before they can be shown to others. You feel safe to fail, and you have access to spaces and the time for rest. I think we've already heard it here today, so I am quite happy that I'm aligned with everyone else. The anecdotes that you're getting your best ideas in the shower, they are rooted in reality. And you can also thoughtfully create opportunities for activities like this in your workplace. So how to design this workplace? And the main principle here that I picked, because there's many of them actually, is to create claimable project spaces. I think this is another underappreciated so far, but you might be the pioneers. Some of you maybe already are. And I would like to suggest that you design a mixture of spaces which individuals or teams can claim both for short-term and long-term use. It's quite important that if people are to play, experiment, and collaborate on a new project or idea, that they can claim the space, that they can say, this is ours for the next 3 months or for the next 6 months. This will become our project base, our project island. And we can leave our stuff on the walls. We can write on the walls. We can leave all the paper, all the snacks, whatever, on the table. No one will come and try to tidy it up, or no one will complain that we haven't tidied up the space. The space around you is an extension of your mind, literally. This is what cognitive science says. And if you are forced to take down all the posters, all the writings on the board, then you are sacrificing quite a lot of this information that was out there, and you have to redo it all over again. Enable the users of these spaces to control their levels of privacy. It's just as simple as installing a curtain so that people can decide, now our project is still in this phase where the idea needs protection. And now it's already ready, so we can open the curtains, we can showcase, we can inspire people, we can sell our idea. Allow teams using these spaces to leave unfinished work safely there. And goal orientation is unexpectedly the next quality. So, who described their activity as having a clear goal, learning, growing, achieving mastery, right? A non-zero amount. What does it mean? It means that the goals of your work are clear. That at any time you can tell whether you're getting closer to these goals or further away from them. That you can participate in setting your own goals and aligning them with your aspirations. That you feel you're growing and developing mastery in your area of expertise. And goal orientation, just as the other qualities, is not only important for enjoyment, but also for creativity and innovation. I will use a bit more anecdotal evidence, but if you are an artist, if your hobby is painting or illustration, you know that it's actually much easier to be creative when you have a clear frame, when you know what are the limits of what you're doing. So this is why having clear goals, and not only those which are clear, but which you participated in setting, is quite important for developing creativity and innovation. So, how to enable goal orientation? And this is a bit more of a leadership topic, But through the spaces, you can support the goals of your organization and of your team. And I think this is already being quite applied to workplace design. And you need to treat workplaces as a tool for fulfilling your goals. I don't really like to imagine workplaces as a factory, but I just wanted to use this metaphor here because just like a factory, an office also needs to have its functions clear. And unlike a factory, a bad office can actually be used for a long time suboptimally, leading to suboptimal and non-creative work without, well, people will notice, but maybe leadership will not do anything with it. While if a factory doesn't work properly, it will be noticed immediately. It will lose money or break down all the time. And so it pays off to first understand how strategy, culture, and processes need to be enabled by the spaces in which people will do those things, where they are supposed to work. Authenticity, being yourself, not having to wear a mask. Who described your activity this way? All right, great. Does anyone have all the qualities so far in their activity? No? Okay. So there will be no bingo. Authenticity means that every day you can behave in alignment with your values, that you feel comfortable bringing your whole self to work, that you feel accepted and valued for who you are, and you have trusting and supportive relationships with your colleagues. And this is quite important for creativity and innovation. Again, seems enjoyment and creativity and innovation have quite an overlap. Why is this? If you have to leave a part of your personality, your values, your desires, your ideas at home because you feel you wouldn't be accepted at work, that this part of yourself wouldn't be accepted at work, you also have to leave a part of your strengths and skills and potentials. And yes, hiring becomes quite important when you want to apply this, but if you hire the right people and allow them to bring their whole selves to work, you will actually help them fulfill their potential and make it work for your company. So how to design enabling workplaces? Enable people to control their levels of interaction. Again, not the only way, one of many, but it's normal for people to regulate how much of themselves they show to others. We don't want people to just be themselves and express themselves fully all the time, but we want to make it easy for them to do it, at least in their circle of trusted people. So things like transparency need to be a bit revisited, at least in spatial terms. A team should ideally have its internal space where people really can be with their trusted inner circle, and also an interface where they can talk to others from outside of their group. And a tiered neighborhood structure is a good way to do that. And the last quality, purpose. Who described your activity this way? Is it being purposeful? All right, great. So, to be quick, purpose is a three-layered system here. Your organization has a purpose, your job has a purpose, and you have a purpose as a person. And if purpose is supposed to work well, then you need to clearly and honestly articulate what is the purpose of your company to your employees, because purpose statements often include ballast. You need to help your people understand their purpose in the company, and you need to help them align their own personal purpose with the purpose of the company. And workplaces can be a tool to communicate the company's purpose honestly, accurately. And I will just skip this part. I'm sorry for that. I talked a bit more than I wanted. So coming back to the 6 qualities. Oh, yeah, here they are. I know it will be quite a lot of work if you set out to apply this in your company, but based on all that we know, this really has the potential to radically improve the lives of your employees. This can help you grow as a leader quite dramatically, and it can also help your company's business to thrive. And if you want to learn more about how to do it, you can now download our new book for free at enjoyable-company.org, and there you will not only find more information about what I've been talking about, but the whole second part of the book is also a worksheet with exercises for each of the 6 qualities. Thank you.
Thank you, Mikhail.
Thank you.
Thanks for. Wasn't he very calm and staid? I was quite chilled listening to you there. I was getting into it, and also I think six kind of guidelines there. And I know that a lot of work goes into boiling down all that information into 6 points. So well done for that. We did run out of time a bit there, but any questions? We have 2. Okay, we'll take 2, and then we'll get on to 10 minutes debate at the end.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It was another excellent presentation with a lot of thinking behind it. My simple question is, you were talking about claimable workspaces. What about the clean desk policy? That is also one of the concepts so widely spread. And then now I'm a bit confused because on one side we are applying this, but on the other side, listening to your presentation, it makes me think.
Personally, I don't think clean desk policy is an ideal thing for most people, for most companies. I would separate it a bit so the claimable project spaces can exist kind of outside of that, because that can be really the kind of closed project islands. For the rest of the desks, I also had it in the end in the skipped part a bit just as an example. Potentially a better way of solving this is to create these team neighborhoods where 20 people might have only 10 desks, but they can negotiate between each other how to use it, how to use this space. And the second big benefit of this, and the second big disadvantage of this clean desk policy, is that you can maintain this personalization and expression of the team's culture. And that's very important, so that everyone can print out as many cat memes as they want, and they don't have to take them home.
Thank you. Totally agree with that. You've got a question?
Yes, I do.
Mike's coming.
Thank you very much. Very interesting presentation. I was thinking about how do you find a balance or a border to which you can go with inspiring your people to enjoy more at work without risking pushing them over the border and them feeling a pressure if they don't find it. Because nowadays a lot of people may be lost because we are speaking about finding your purpose, finding all of those elements. What if I don't know how to do it? Where is that balance?
I think it will take some time. So you don't have to tell people that you now have to experience these 6 things instantaneously. You can introduce them one by one, and maybe then the book could be interesting because in the back are the exercises where you don't really have to tell people like self-determination, you have to be self-determined, but you as a leader can just naturally start working with your people to help them experience it. And as I said, enjoyment here would be a bit different than happiness. You don't have to push your employees to be happy and cheerful all the time, because these 6 qualities get, a bit deeper than that.
Great.
Great.
Right, thank you. Let's give
Thank you.
Michael a round of applause.
Thank you very much.
But,